Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope that everybody's doing well. I decided to go ahead and do like a 6-month prediction for what is occurring. So I'm going to leave my phone here because I'm playing some music. I don't know if y'all can hear me very well, but I'm using one cell phone and then an old cell phone while I'm playing music here. So I'm going to be doing some predictions on what I see for the next 6 months. I got my selenite here. I got my blue candle for healing. I wanted to create a very peaceful ambiance, so I hope that you're enjoying. I have these cards here that I am using. I'm going to be using these cards. I recently got them. They're Norse divination cards. This is what it looks like, and it comes in this box with that magnetic clasp. The cards are here. They're black and white, so they're not like your everyday typical cards. They kind of follow the motif of the Rider-Waite, where you have the major and minor arcana, but the depictions are a lot different. I kind of like this this kind of deck. And I picked it up on one of my trips to San Antonio, Texas, to one of the shops that they have there. So I have that, and then I may use this deck as well. This is called the New Era Elements Tarot Cards, and it's by Eleanor Piper, Dr. Eleanor Piper, I believe. So these are pretty good. They're 78 tarot cards. So they follow the traditional Rider-Waite deck. And so what I'm going to do is these cards here, this deck here is made by I can't pronounce that last name, Hawksdottir. I think these are like German cards almost, or Norse, so I don't know. But this is what it looks like, and it comes with a manual. The manuals are pretty good, pretty big. So I'm not going to use the manual. When I use my cards, I just read them. Using my intuition, my gift. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I'll be asking some important questions. I have my selenite because I want to clear the energy, so I'm going to tap on this 3 times. Over here is my Rider-Waite deck, and so I'm going to be asking some questions to Spirit to see what is coming up. So I may not be asking like some questions when I start channeling, but let's see what comes through. So I think one of the questions that Spirit wants me to ask, and a lot of you guys probably want to know as well, is what do I see for the economy? Like a prediction for the next 6 months for the economy of the world, not just the USA, because I have a lot of viewers here, my rays of light, that are from Europe, Germany, Norway, Sweden, Australia, India, China, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to do my best for you guys to see what comes through. So what is the overall energy regarding the economy over the next 6 months? What is the overall energy? Okay, so I'm doing it here. I typically, when I do these videos, I don't like to shuffle because I know it kind of like takes up time, but let's just see what Spirit has to say. Okay, now a lot of people cut the deck into 3 stacks. I do it a little differently. I try to not look at the deck, and I kind of just like separate, and then wherever Spirit guides my fingers to pull a card, I'll pull a card. So I've got 1 here, and I'm going to pull out 6 cards, okay? Because we're talking about the next 6 months here. So again, I'm just not going anywhere really. I think that was 3. Let me see. Yeah, 4. And then let's see here. All right, 6 cards. So I'm going to set these aside on top of my phone. All right, so I'm going to turn them over. The first card is Beauty and Vanity. That's what came out. Beauty and Vanity. So I'm going to hold up the card so you can kind of see it. Here, Beauty and Vanity. So again, I feel like the message that I had given to you guys, you know, a couple of days ago throughout the different streams that I've been, you know, holding with y'all live, that, you know, this whole virus, the whole concept behind it, I know it's scary. A lot of people are worried about the actual, you know, reason it happened, But really and truly, I feel like something beautiful is being born from this for our economy. You know, even though it's like, it's going to be an economic reset for the whole entire world, not just the USA. And this had to happen so we could kind of also see our own beauty and the beauty of the world. I think like the world, we're going to see it through a whole set of different lenses and stuff. Excuse me. We're going to see like a whole different set of lenses that, you know, through a whole different set of lenses, we're going to see things in the world changing. Okay, the next card I got here is the Guardian of, I don't know how to pronounce this, Galjabaru, and it is, to me, it has, look, it has the death on it, death card. So the economy, it's going to go through a death. It's going to go essentially through a period of being reborn, because when we look at the death card in the major arcana, in any tarot, the death represents an ending, a finality. This could also represent that the economy is going to be affected because there's not going to be enough people. Well, I'm not going to say there's not going to be enough people, but there's going to be a lot of people that are no longer here. People that would have contributed to the economy, people that have died from this virus, okay? People that are no longer here on Earth. It has, it's going to affect, you know, their families and their families' families. So again, we're seeing here through these cards here, Spirit is showing us that there is a rebirth, that there is beauty, that, you know, an economic reset that we see here, but we also see death. Okay, the next card I got here is bravery, lifting the nightmare. Lifting the nightmare. You see this warrior. That's us, guys. That's all of you out there that are tuning in. All of us that are fighters. All of us that are fighting for a mission, fighting for justice, fighting for a new beginning, to be stripped away from all of the old, going into the new, for healing. This is a time of healing. You know, even though we are experiencing loss and death and illness from all of this that's going on in the world, this gives me a lot of hope. It's like the virus is the dragon, and the dragon is being slain. So there is a finality coming to this. Now, I'm not saying that the virus is going to go away and it's going to be like forever gone. It may linger off, but eventually it is going to be something that we defeat. And that's the whole point of this card. And our economy is going to be able to defeat all of the things that we're seeing now, all of the layoffs, especially here in the USA, all of these innocent people that are tuning in. My heart goes out to you. I know how hard this has to be for you. All right, so I'm going to move these cards back, and I'm going to put the other cards here. The present is coming in, and the present, when I look at this card, it's like she's weaving, like I've said before, the tapestry, the fabric. This represents Mother God, Gaia, the world, the source, you know, God itself. There's something being woven in our economic you know, frame, our economic economy. Basically, in the world, we are going to learn to do things all over, but differently. And it's going to involve, I think, like creating a lot of more jobs, and creating new jobs for people that wouldn't have had it in the beginning. So we're going to be seeing that. Okay, the next thing we got is the Spirit of Lightning. Now, when I see this card, lightning, you think of destruction. You kind of think of like, you know, it hitting the earth, the weather. So through all of this, lightning, to me, this represents like the Tower card. When I look at it, it represents, I'm going to lay it down. It represents that card. And I feel like in many ways that, you know, this is all good. It is all good that this is happening right now. The next part I got here is a messenger of the gods for the economy. Again, you know, when we look at this card, the messenger, this is a message that the divine force, when we look at this card, you kind of think it's, it's coming in a horse. It's like the apocalyptic, you know, description of the 4 horsemen, but it's not. It's a message. This is a time, you know, we're going to be given a second chance as a world, as a collective consciousness, as the whole collective. And I feel like what Spirit is saying here, that with this card, you know, the messenger of the gods, that there is good news on the way. That's what I really feel, guys. So with the economy and the way that things are going, good things are on their way. Good things are going to be happening in the world with our economy, where it's going to, again, build up, and there's going to be money. It's not as grimful. There's a lot of predictions and things that I've read, like people writing their reports and stuff, and it's very grim, the outlook, but no one is 100% right, not even myself, when it comes to spirit. And you know, we have to remove the cockiness and remove the ego from it, because I've read some predictions from some people, and a lot of it was very abrasive, you know, very cocky, like throwing other readers under the bus and stuff like that, and elevating like if they were, you know, the Messiah. So, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular, it's just things that I have come across. So we have to remove the ego, because no matter how good you are out there, you know, everybody, like all of you, all of my brothers and sisters that are tarot readers, or that work as a psychic medium like myself, that don't usually use tarot, you know, for readings, or you're a healer, you do Reiki, we are all elevating the consciousness and all elevating. The reason that I chose to do this reading on the economy and predictions that I see for the world is because I feel like y'all need a visual representation and actually see it. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think that cards are great because they are like a tool that we can use, that you can use. If I have this question that a lot of people come to me and ask me, you know, Ray, how can I, what can I do during this time to distract myself? Go out to your spiritual shop. I'm pretty sure that some of them are open. If not, go to Amazon, order it. Go to my website and order my my Starseed Footstep Oracle cards. But use cards, pull a couple of cards, sit with them. No one got, I want to send a message right now that to everybody that's looking. No one has gotten to the point where they're you know, reading cards like overnight. It takes time. Sometimes you have to look at the image and kind of see what that means to you. You can't just go by what, if it's like a 7 of Swords or something like that. To me, you know, when you're reading cards, I read them again differently using my gift, and I feel like the same thing should apply to you guys, and that you should use your gift the way that you, you know, that you feel that you're interpreting or receiving the message. Okay, so I'm going to use my Rider-Waite now, and I'm going to ask for some clarifications. I'm going to ask for further insight about our economy over the next 6 months. I'm curious to find out, you know, what else is being shown here. Right? So then after I shuffle it, some people shuffle it 7 times. Some people, you know, you can tailor to do your readings however you want. And I'm thinking of doing some courses as well on my Patreon, teaching how to read tarot and oracle cards, because I feel like it's going to be easier for beginners or people who are not that experienced with cards. So you can expect that video. It's coming. All right, so I pulled out the King of Swords. To me, the King of Swords, when we talk about the King of Swords, it represents mental energy. It also represents someone in power. So let me hold that up if you haven't seen it, the 7 of Swords. And then we have here the Page of Pentacles, money, again, about the economy. So, fights. Okay. Whew. All right, so when we get into the King of Swords, this could represent President Trump, okay? This could represent him. It could also represent the divine masculine rising up to save the economy. You know, at the same time, we see over here, when I get to it, the divine feminine with the the 9 of Pentacles, right? So again, we are seeing a little bit. So let me look at these cards really quick. So I see the King of Swords, and to me that represents a male energy, a very strong leader that is thinking right now. They're thinking of how can they, this can represent not just President Trump, but all the leaders that are masculine, or even females that are in a leadership position that operate out of their divine masculine. They are all thinking right now. There's a lot of thinking on how to heal the economy, how to help the economy in some way, because believe it or not, even if they are rich, even if they are powerful in some position. They are just as scared as a lot of us are. They are just as worried as a lot of us are. Like I said, all that money that they have, that these rich, powerful men and women have in the world, these billionaires or millionaires, it doesn't do them any good if companies are closing down, if they can't buy their favorite designer, if manufacturer companies or factories go out of business. So again, we're seeing here confirmation with our economy that there is going to be a rise in the divine masculine stepping up. But I don't necessarily feel like the divine masculine is going to save. Like I said before, I feel like the divine feminine is going to raise up and it's going to save the world from this virus. Either it's a vaccine, or it is a discovery on how to prevent the virus, etc., how to eradicate it. There is going to be the divine feminine. With the Page of Pentacles, it represents new energy. Again, an economic reset. To me, that's validating what I had said before about the economy. That money is coming back. Notice the sky. Look at the background is yellow. That represents the divine masculine. It represents the sun. It represents happiness. The color yellow is associated to happiness, to a very good energy. Like, it's very positive. So again, I feel like, when we look at the King of Swords, it's almost like in a blue, kind of with clouds in the background. The way that I interpret that is that like we are in a stormy weather, right? A lot of pressure falls on the kings out there, or the actual leaders of the world. These leadership roles, the governments, the different governments of the world. Then we have the Page of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles is showing us that, again, there are going to be a new beginning, something new projects around the economy to help up. This could be the stimulus packages that are being rolled out throughout the world. But I also believe that there is going to be some other help that comes from the state. I don't feel like just the federal part is going to step in, but the states are going to have to take accountability. You're going to see a lot of celebrities sending money to different organizations to help them. Then we have here the, what is this? I'm looking at it backwards here. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 of Pentacles. 8 of Wands. The 8 of Wands is like the representation of the masculine, the phallus, right? Of men, of someone fighting. Again, fighting. We're going to see a lot of people rising up. This is where the riots are going to start coming in, I feel like, when jobs are prolonged, or the government's not helping certain people. People are going to take their power back, and they're going to go up and rise up against the government. And it's going to be pretty messy. There's going to be people rioting on the streets once this, all blows over. I think even on the election day, depending, like I've said, I saw, who I saw being reelected. There's going to be a lot of riots. There's going to be a lot of resistance coming in the next few months, the next 6 months, right? Leading up to the election. Then we see the divine feminine here with the 9 of Pentacles. Again, a lot of bright. So like people that are worried right now, a lot of you that are listening to this and are worried about your money and worried about your jobs, if you've been laid off, or you've been, basically told to stay working from home, or you're a school teacher out there and you're, having to teach from home. Everything's going to get back to normal. There's going to be some normality coming back in the near future, okay? Within the next 6 months. I don't feel like it's going to take 6 months to start getting back. I feel like it'll be much sooner than that. But I do see, from what Spirit is showing me here, I do see that there is some normality coming back. And it feels pretty positive, all right? So let me go ahead and remove these cards. And I'm going to make some other predictions and ask. Now, the one thing that was coming to me from Spirit here when I was doing this reading is that there is going to be a white male celebrity that passes from the coronavirus. I don't know who this is, but I do feel like if they are in the entertainment world, I do feel like they may be in their 40s or 50s, quite possibly. And I do get that they have impacted many lives, and they have the virus, or they will be getting it. And it is going to be very tragic. But I feel like we need to start preparing, because I think the world right now is not prepared to see who is going to pass. So far, we haven't heard. You don't hear about the passings of people that are not celebrities, that are everyday citizens of the world. But when it comes to a celebrity, we hear about it because it makes news, and the world, again, is, those illusions are being crumbled. All of that's being crumbled in many, many ways. So, I guess my next question is going to be, what is coming? Show me what is coming in the next 6 months overall. What do we need to know? What do my rays of light, what do the viewers that are visiting my channel and looking at this video, what do they need to know, Great Spirit? I'm clearing the energy. Let me actually do this. All right, so I'm clearing the energy because they felt off. Divine source, spirit guides, show us, what do we need to know? What is coming up over the next 6 months? What is it that our viewers need to know? What can you provide us? Okay. Shuffle a little bit here. Oops. And I hope you know, guys, I really, really enjoy doing these videos. If you want me to do different videos with my cards, like pick a cards or stuff like that, comment in the comments section below once you view this video in its entirety, and I'll be more than happy to do different videos using cards. So this time I'm gonna go ahead and divide it in, I'm told, into 4 decks. I'm gonna move this Rider Waite. Okay, and I'm asked to be pulling 8 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's 8 cards. I'm going to move this deck back to the corner. Hope all of you are eating something, snacking, listening to this video. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the beautiful comments on my videos. You really uplift me, and I hope that I do the same for you. I'm really, really grateful. Okay, so here we go. What do we need to know? The first card we got here is the reconciliation of opposites. Wow. And this has the lunar cycle. This is like the gods, like the divine universe. Like if you go back to like the Inca culture, the Mayans, the Aboriginals in Australia, you see that there is like this totem, like this represents like a totem. It also, a reconciliation of the opposites. To me, is like where there's been a lot of division in the world, like I've said before in my, videos that I've been doing about, the bubonic plague, your predictions on the virus, etc. This to me tells me that there is hope, that there is a reconciliation of people that have been against one another. This is all had to happen, like I said, regardless if it was the shadow government, regardless if this was, all the conspiracies out there, whether it was a man-made virus. We're going to put all that aside for a moment, okay, as brothers and sisters, my rays of light. What Spirit is saying is very clear here, is it's a reconciliation of the opposites. So a lot of healing to me. This is a lot of healing. It represents, the alignment of the moon and stars, a new path, okay, a new path. But a lot of people are going to feel very different over the next 6 months. Nobody is going to feel the same. We're going to take precautions now. This is going to be entering a new phase in the world where we're more cautious about germs, more cautious about one another as people. I also feel like it's going to there's going to be implementation going forward in schools, on how seating arrangements are. One of the things that I even got as a download of information was about the fact with this virus being spread through particles when you sneeze or cough, there should be air purifiers in every facility that is like a medical facility, a classroom. there should be air purifiers with an ultraviolet light, because ultraviolet light are known to like kill certain mold, spores, bacteria, some, some viruses as well. They use a lot of the blue light or the ultraviolet light. So you may want to look up on that if you haven't heard about that. But that's something that I feel like every place should be having, is like that. They already have in a lot of places hand sanitizers. I feel like, again, there's just going to be a whole amount of different changes and more consideration, because I feel like the elderly, the disabled, have not been taken into consideration. And this is going to be all an eye-opener, not just for the economy, not just for everyday citizens, but even the way that medicine handles things from a scientific approach. It's going to be like using non-traditional methods to heal people. And I think that's what is why God, God or the source is allowing a lot of the scarcity of ventilators, scarcity of supplies, is to teach people to think outside the box. They've gone to medical school, they've gone to nursing school, they've learned some way to cope or treat certain things, and to help people. But that's like being stuck in a box. And I feel like the source is trying to wake up people to start thinking outside the box. Even though medicine doesn't support like herbs and stuff like that like a lot of us that do, like, elderberry or zinc or the different kinds of stuff. Again, I feel like, that there is going to be changes in that manner. Then we got here the fiery wrath. Okay. So my prediction is that with all of this here, that eventually there is going to be a war, but not necessarily a viral war, but there is going to be a war between two nations, okay? This could be very well a war between China and America. Now, I'm not saying to scare anyone that this is going to be like a world war, but there's going to be some conflict. And I feel like this is not going to be like necessarily a war yet. I don't really know that. I can't say that. And I'm not going to say that because I don't want to freak out anyone. But really and truly, I don't see it being like a world war or like a chemical warfare war. I'm sorry for the background noise. But it is going to be something where there is like two nations fighting. That's what this feels like with this card, okay? There's going to be two nations fighting, okay? And I feel like this is going to be about supplies, about that kind of stuff. Then we got here, bravery, lifting the nightmare. Again, with the same card that I got before about slaying the dragon, slaying the virus. Again, the forces of light, the forces of good that are in the world. There's a lot of it being conquered and a lot of it being removed, in essence, from the world, so that the world is a better place, okay? This has to do with the powers, the corruptness in the powers that be. I'm not talking about the government necessarily, but rich people that are very corrupt, people that use their money and or power to hurt other people, to control other people. Then I got here, the Lord of Misfits. So again, a rebellion. To me, very long legs. They're trying to see through the skies. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm looking at this card, trying to interpret it. The Lord of Misfits. Misfits, when you think of a misfit, it could represent us as citizens fighting back, like I said, overall, over the next 6 months, fighting back to take back our power. Lifting the veil, opening and expanding consciousness on many levels. I also got here reflection. Again, a time of reflecting, looking at ourselves. Look at the bird, and it's looking at the mirror, but it's the sun reflecting. Again, how that person sees, how we see each other, how we see the world is not how it is. It's an illusion. We are blinded. We cannot see. And that's what I feel like this is all within the next 6 months. It's going to change a lot of people's perspective. A lot of people that have had careers that made them happy. There's a lot of that's going to change. People are going to start looking at their careers and seeing how they were impacted by this virus and knowing that they don't want that ever again. So it's going to lead a lot of people to start going back to school, going and studying something, going back to, you know, getting certified in a certain trade, learning how to weld, learning how to use our hands again, how to make things. I feel like, again, there's going to be a lot of changes here. The next thing that we got here is darkness and fog, okay? So darkness and fog, and it's like surrounding, the darkness is like being attacked by the fog, is kind of like what I see. Darkness in the world is going to be receiving like big blows, meaning that they are being, the darkness is the evil, not necessarily like, because I think when I don't like to say that darkness is evil, because we all have a certain level of darkness, which is like our shadow selves. But when I talk about darkness, it's the devil energy. It is evil. It's basically evil, and the world is going to be swept up in many ways. We are going to start seeing that defeated, and a lot of our own inner darkness rising into the light. We got here, the known is unknown. Again, the divine feminine. Not everybody knows what's going to come or what's going to happen in the next 6 months. All right, I can only tell you what Spirit gives me, what the cards are showing. But with the known unknown, it's almost like a riddle. You would think that it reads the known is unknown, right? So we don't know the future. But in many ways, if you look at her, she is looking at tarot cards. So again, a rise in people turning to their spirituality. I see a lot of celebrities right now that are saging, that are using candles, that are meditating. People that are not celebrities are doing the same. A lot of people are coming together more to their spiritual side, because even though we may believe that there is a God, we are also trying to awaken our inner divine God and goddesses within ourselves, okay? So I see that, you know, a lot of people are gonna, she is using the tarot cards. You can see it here in the photograph. I don't know if y'all can see it pretty clear. I feel like that's gonna happen as well. And then we have here the loyalty. Oh my God, loyalty. And she's holding up a cup and also a scorpion in her hand. Very, very powerful. A lot of loyalty. So I feel like people are going to be more loyal. We are going to be more loyal as a collective to our brothers and sisters, to ourselves. This is about the people uniting and staying together and doing for one another. We've been, again, so separated. And I feel like Spirit is showing me that there's going to be more loyalty coming out of all of this in the next 6 months. We're going to see people helping one another like they've never helped before. Usually when we see like a natural disaster like hurricanes, you see people stepping in, you know, Red Cross and all of this and that. But you don't see a lot of people actually helping one another. And that's what we're going to be seeing now. We're going to start seeing the loyalty, you know, celebrities, people that are in power, giving away some of their money and helping other people, because they have realized that holding on to a lot of that money, it doesn't do them any good. It does not do them any good as a collective, you know, that they could be putting it to more use. And in many ways, that's why we are where we're at right now, because there's been too much greed around money, around power, around people being selfish and being full of ego. And we're seeing all of these stripped away completely. So let me get my other decks of cards and see what other messages come in. Let me just get those. Give me 1 second. Let me see. I'm going to pull some cards. Let me just step away for a moment. Okay, I have this deck here. It's the Oracle of the Fairies. And it's by Karen Kay. And it's very bright. And I'm going to shuffle these cards. Let me just set them aside here to show you what Spirit has to say. These are beautiful cards. Let me go ahead and shuffle. right, I'm shuffling, and then I will be pulling some cards for messages for my rays of light. Those of you that are tuning in, what are the messages, fairies? Like, what are the messages over the next 6 months that you want us to know? What does Spirit want us to know? Okay, over the next 6 months, from the fairies' point of view. I don't know if a lot of you believe in fairies. Believe it or not, I do. I believe that there's a lot of magical creatures that we have been told that are just fairy tales, that they are not real, and they are very real, okay? So, fairies are very, very real. Okay, I'm going to pull 6 cards. All right, so I got the 6 cards here. The first card is protect your dreams. You are the guardian of your precious dreams, and they are safe in your care. Keep them close to your heart until you're ready to release them. Again, this is a time of dreaming, a time of planning. Like I said, over the next 6 months, things that you wanted to carry out. Life is too short, even though we are eternal beings and our soul is eternal. Our physical life here on earth, this school that we're in, is very short. So for those of you that have been putting off your dreams, I feel like a lot of you are going to be going back and pursuing your dreams. It's time. It's time that you go back and pursue those dreams and pursue those goals that you need. Healing. Wow. Over the next 6 months, a lot of healing, guys. Now is a time for you to give or receive healing. Everyone has a natural ability to heal others. Yes, even you. Look at how beautiful she reminds me of Ella from Frozen. I think that's her name, Ella. Maybe I got it wrong. I'm always getting stuff wrong on names. But from the movie Frozen, right? She wears that beautiful blue, ice blue dress. Healing. So healing is coming within the next 6 months. Moderation. Is there something you know you shouldn't be eating? Try to eat mindfully and healthy, although the fairies say that a little bit of what you fancy is fine. This is a time of eating fruits and vegetables, eating whole grains, fiber, elevating your consciousness through foods. I'm not saying that you should not eat meats, but again, this is a time of nourishing your body and making sure that you're taking care of yourself, because a lot of us are emotional eaters like I used to be. And when I was depressed or something, like, I would turn to something sweet, like a lot of food that was fattening or sweet. So again, this is a time to, even though you may not be able to hit up the gym, make your own exercises at home. Go out for a walk if you can. Modify your foods. If you were used to like going out and eating at a certain place, this is a time to prepare your food with love and compassion. Celebration over the next 6 months, guys. Let me just clear my throat here. I've been talking, haven't cleared it. Sorry. Celebration. Get ready to let your hair down and celebrate. It's time to go out to dance and play. An invitation could be on the way. I feel like a lot of people are going to start turning to online dating. They're going to connect. A lot of people are going to turn to social media during these times, since they can't physically be together, in outings and stuff. There's going to be a lot of people working on relationships, and a lot of people being awoken by this time over the next 6 months. Maybe they were kind of blinded in a relationship and thought, this person was the one, this person was everything that I thought that they could be. But they were spending so much time apart in their own worlds, working professionally, and now they're at home together, quarantine, and there's going to be like a lot of awakening. A lot of people are going to drift apart after this over the next 6 months. There's going to be a lot of divorces. There's going to also be a lot of unions, spiritual unions getting stronger, relationships getting stronger. This time is going to be serving as a clarity. Sometimes when we're together with other people for a prolonged period of time, whether it's family, it's your boyfriend, fiance, girlfriend, husband or wife, sometimes we need our space. And with this quarantine, I feel like there is going to be some good things out of that. And there will also be the opposite of it. And the card didn't say that, but again, I'm giving you what I get from Spirit. Music. Listen carefully, for there may be a message in the music you hear. Music can lift your soul, rekindle memories, and charm fairies to your order. And charm fairies to your door. Listening to music, guys, will elevate your consciousness. It will help you during the next 6 months. Start listening to music, old and new. This is a time of that. And finally, your inner child. How beautiful is this card? The fairies of playfulness remind you to make time to embrace your inner child. Playing keeps us young at heart. Do something silly and fun, but stay safe, okay? So inner child, like a lot of us have grown up, we had maybe rough childhoods and we didn't really get to experience it. Maybe you experienced something traumatic and now you're dealing with the coronavirus, this whole pandemic, epidemic type of thing. And we're all like, you know, this is a horrible time to be in. So what can we do? Again, part of this process and why this had to happen is for us to reconnect to our inner child. Not only is it about playing and having fun, but when you think about children, they're very spiritually connected to the spirit world. They haven't been told otherwise or socially conditioned. They are very innocent, and we've been stripped away as adults from all of that, you know, for those of you that are listening to this. And it's very important for you, if you have children, to play with your children. Like I've said before, this is a time for you to you know, maybe look at like Family Matters, look at those old reruns, you know, some of those shows on ABC, maybe like what was it, Step by Step, or what was the other show from the 90s that was so popular, Full House. You know, looking at a lot of these reruns of the Golden Girls, you know, these bring back nostalgia. It brings back memories. It connects you to a point in your time when maybe you used to watch those shows with your parents. You used to watch it with your grandparents, right? Maybe you were a fan of MASH or Andy Griffith or Bewitched, or, you know, a lot of these shows that came out in the late 80s, early 90s, like what's it, I Dream of Jeannie. So, you know, kind of have like a moment of that. Or look at Rambo, look at, you know, a lot of these movies from the 1980s, 1970s. You know, this is a time to kind of play around with your own inner child, your own self. And you know, whether it's pulling out a coloring book for adults and start coloring, that's a good way to reconnect to yourself. So I hope that you like these predictions, this insight for over the next 6 months, what we see, what Spirit sees from the point of view of, you know, Oracle and Tarot cards. So I love you so, so much, my rays of light. Until next time, okay? Bye.